actually coming loose. It's not. It's just the new aerodynamics on the front of that gas tank. Leopard Racing, the reigning world champions, Jan Weissier has moved into Moto3. Who started from the third row of the grid. As they come through turn 2, Olgado then has converted pole position into the lead. Top 3 are held station, Ortola in second position, and then it is Jose Antonio Rueda. Good start from Ricardo Rossi. He's up into 5th position as they come through the first split. More riders going wide through turn 5 and through turn 6. Come down into the braking zone. David Munoz so far behind. Of course, we have had riders starting from the pit lane and making it onto the podium, but it's going to take a lot of jostling for position as this race continues through into sector 2, then through turn 7, then we flick it left through turn 8, and then back onto the right hand side of the tyre into turn 9. I remind you that none of these riders have had the benefit of a morning warm-up. There's been a very, very good start for Fernandez. He runs in that 4th position. He's the rider that last year was very instrumental in the outcome of the World Championship in Valencia. They come under the Tiso Bridge, heading up towards turn 12, and a look on the inside, and Holgado's a little bit wide. It's only lap number 1, and there is Munoz. He is round about, I would say, 6 or 7 seconds behind this battle at the front. Now what Munoz needs is a typical Moto3 race to unfold. What do I mean by that? Well, the bikes are pretty much all the same. They're 250cc 4-strokes, that's 60 brake horsepower, and the nature of Moto3 racing is a lot of jostling for position, as we see Adrian Fernandez making a nice move there at the final corner. The all-blue Leopard Racing rider now moves up into 3rd position. They're already weaving. As you can see, this is not like riders together as Ortola now fights back. Jose Antonio Rueda on the Red Bull. KTM moves up into 2nd position, carries a lot of corner speed there, so too does David Alonso, the Colombian, looking on the inside. Oh, 3 into 1, 3 into 1. I was about to say doesn't go, but somehow they all thread the eye of a needle and they make it through turn 4, heading down through turn 5 and then down now in towards turn 6. A look on the inside from Rueda. Does he take the lead? Not on this occasion. So we've already had 5 or 6 position changes in that first lap. Daniel Holgado still leads from pole position. Winner of a couple of races last year. He's changed teams. We ride on board with David Alonso, the Colombian. We are asked in the press conference on Thursday, all 6 MotoGP riders, including Marc Marquez, who were in that press conference, were asked, who is your tip for the champion? And they all pretty much, apart from one, said David Alonso. As Jose Antonio Rueda says, hang on a minute, what about me? I can fight for this World Championship. I've got a full factory bike, and he takes the lead momentarily as Holgado comes straight back underneath him. And for David Munoz, this is music to the ears as Rueda goes back in front. So 3 corners and 3 position changes. So we're going to keep an eye out on David Munoz. How quickly can he close in on the back of the group? Currently in 15th position is Matteo Bertelli. Started, as I said, right in that top 8 or 9 positions. He was the rider that went off track at turn 2. He's dropped right down into 15th position. Jacob Ralston, the young 19-year-old Australian, runs in 17th. Then it's Luca Lanetta. Scott Bolton's made up places into 19th position. Josh Watley running in 22nd. Across the line we go again. We see riders down, and I think that was Ortola. It was drama again for Ivan Ortola. How many times have I said it? You can't win the World Championship in race number 1. You ain't going to win it on lap number 3. And the pair of them collide and go down at turn 1. That's now given a bit of breathing space to Holgado. So Rueda and Ortola out. And again, Moto3 racing. Again, sometimes with younger riders. Here's a replay. We go down into turn 1. There were bikes everywhere looking on the inside, hard on the brakes. Look at the number 99 on the inside. Down he goes. They clip each other over the top. Landing face first is not what you want, but both riders are all right. He's on board. We ride on board, losing it on the inside. The back end's going to go, clips him over the top. Great reaction from who was that we were riding on board with? I wanted to say Fernandez, but it wasn't. As Ortola gets back on. And David Munoz is now up into 24th place, and it's over. It is over for Jose Antonio Rueda. He crashed in practice, and his race is over on lap number 3. The bike is being carried away. Oh, sorry, walk back to the pitch. Saw the team boss Aki Ayo looking on. Some drama already. The leading group is about 12 or 13 riders as they come through turn 15. Lots of riders running off the circuit. Jacob Ralston now in the points, running in 14th position. Keep your eyes on the back of this picture. And David Munoz, I am being told, is in the pits, but I don't think that's true. White and yellow machine rider from the Netherlands. And we are going to take further action at turn 1. It was a mistake from Rueda. He crashed, and unfortunately, Ivan Ortola just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So these things can happen. 13 laps remaining, and look at this leading group. They're all coming back together again as Vincenzo Perez comes under attack from Tayo Furusato. Furusato, this is a spirited ride for the number 72. He's now up, there he is, into 7th position. He was down in 20th position on the opening day, and slowly but surely he has been working his way with the team to find that set. A little bit of a front end shake there as they come through turn 8 and 9 down into turn 10. Holgado doesn't want to be pushed back, does he? He really doesn't like being in that 2nd position. He wants to be the rider that is dictating the pace. And we'll talk about Furusato, his countryman Tatsuki Suzuki, qualified in 24th position. He's now up into 11th position. Fastest lap of the race and a new lap record for Tatsuki Suzuki. Multiple race winner, the winner in Argentina last year. He's also changed teams, and the 2nd of the Liquid Moly bikes is in the back of the shop. There he is, in fact, now ahead of Ryusuke Yamanaka, the other Japanese riders. We've got 3 Japanese youngsters in this leading group as Filippo Farioli runs right out of road, coming out of turn 15, coming through to complete lap number 4. onto the start and finish straight one more time. Again, if you are just joining us, getting involved in the show. Sorry sight of Jose Antonio Rueda and the team go across there to consoling is probably the better way of putting that, and that is very important. Again, Rueda, just 18 years of age, can't afford to be going back into the garage and getting screamed at. He's got to stay calm. It's a long season. It's so easy to make a mistake at this level. As there goes Colin Vaya, nice little move, there goes Forasato. So there's a couple of riders in this leading group that have never been on the podium. Several have never won a race. Delgado has, Alonso has, Fernandez hasn't, Kelso hasn't, although he has been on the podium. Vaya has, Rossi hasn't, Forasato hasn't, and Stefano Neppa now up into 8th position. Yamanaka last year was running in 4th place in several races, and unfortunately just tending to make friends with the gravel trap more than not. So we come back with Ivan Ortola, and Ortola now is ahead of David Munoz. So Munoz there is the rider that started from the pit lane. He had qualified in 10th position, and for whatever problem that was, he is now being overtaken by Ortola, who did actually crash earlier on in this race. The gap between Ortola and Josh Watley, who was just ahead of him, is now 4.4 seconds. Ortola closing in on that battle. I remind you, the top 15 get points. Once he actually catches that group, he needs to find what's that 4.4 plus 3.6 is 7 is 8, 9.3. He's going to need about 9.3 seconds. We've now got a yellow flag in sector 3 and sector 4. We have potentially lost another rider, and we have number 7, 8, It's going to be out of shot over the top. Oh, and again, two riders colliding and going down. There was nothing there that Farioli could do about that. And that is also now under investigation. So, coming a bit of a race of attrition. There's 4 riders on the floor, and we are only on lap number 5. Through turn number 6. Heading up towards turn 7. Leading group of 11 is a 22-wheeler in the lead of this race, and still leading, albeit by the slenderest of margins, is Daniel Holgado. So it is KTM. It's the Honda. You'll see the slightly different fairing on the fronts of these machines. Colin Vaya has now moved up into 4th position, and there is Tatsuki Suzuki, his teammate. So there's a couple of riders in this group that do have their teammates that could potentially help as we get later into the race. If you are new to Moto3, if you've never seen a Moto3 race before, this is pretty typical. I've got to say it's a little bit calm, to be honest. There's normally more elbows and legs being waved around than we're currently seeing. We've already had 4 of the point scorers on the floor. A little cheeky look over the shoulder then from Joel Kelso, one of the riders that we haven't really mentioned in this race. And Joel Kelso riding number 66 to the very emotional podium in the rain at Phillip Island in Australia a couple of races ago at the end of the last season. Phillip Island, one of the most iconic chances of efforts on the calendar, both for MotoGP and World Superbike. In the last 7 laps. It was absolute heartbreak for Joan who's kind of run out of fuel. And it looks as though after yesterday's race, we are not being disappointed in MotoGP. There you see that progression from Tayo Furusato starting 18th on the grid and now running in the top 6. And this is one of the riders, if you were here earlier on today that I was mentioning, has come through. As there's a nice little bit there by Suzuki on his teammate. Oh, that's tight. And just thinks better of it. The last thing that, as a team manager, you want is two riders taking each other out. But the 72 that we're looking at there, Tayo Furusato, the former champion of Asia Talent Cup, came through that series. And this just shows you these young riders that we saw. What about the youngster that we saw this morning, the 14-year-old Kitisak Singapore from Indonesia, 14 years of age, got the win. This could be him in 2 or 3 years' time, racing in the Moto3 World Championship. Holgado then still leads from David Alonso, and two of these riders, as I said, are potential favourites to be fighting for the championship. Adrian Fernandez, we weren't really sure what we would get from him. He's had flashes of brilliance. He's also scored points last year in the Supersport World Championship in Catalonia, finished 15th place as a wildcard rider there. So a very talented rider, but he has again got a reputation of just blowing a little bit hot and cold. Now that he is a full-time rider with Leopard, the reigning champions, they won of course several years ago as well, including with Danny Kent, the last British world champion. They know how to nurture riders, they know how to get the best out of riders, and at the moment, I've got to say, without putting the commentator's curse on him, Adrian Fernandez. Who crashed out of this race earlier on is lapping faster than the leaders. So all this fighting at the front, which is what I was talking about, is now allowing these other riders to close in. Kelso in 11th, Jacob Ralston, the 19-year-old from Australia, his countryman, is going to be the next rider in picture. There he is, a very lonely 12th position at the moment for Jacob Ralston. That would be great. His mum and dad are here. His mum said it's a bit surreal. 3 years ago, he was also racing in Asian Talent Cup, the Red Bull Rookies, went across to the Junior World Championship. I think, as I mentioned, there are many, many riders that I get the pleasure of working with in Europe. They come across from the other side of the world, leaving their entire families behind at 16, 17 years of age, as Holgado goes straight back to the front. A couple of changes a little bit further back. Netta in his first ever Grand Prix is running in 14th position. As you see there, the sun starting to set here. It's going to be completely dark when we get into MotoGP racing. 8.5 laps remaining then. Any one of 11 riders are going to be on the podium. There's going to be 8 riders here. They're going to be very, very disappointed at the end of it, providing they all make it to the flag. Stefano Neppa looking for a podium. Kelso toing and throwing between 8th and 11th positions. Ricardo continues to lead. Ricardo Rossi also looking for a podium, and there he is. He was actually the first rider that we interviewed on the fan zone stage on Friday. He said he loves racing here. He too has a new team, the CIP Green Power team. And again, it just shows you as look on the inside, maybe just getting a little bit impatient there was David Alonso, the Colombian, looking through the inside of the corner, now looking to the outside, no way through. Tatsuki Suzuki for me, from past the 20th position on the grid, now into the fight for the podium. I did see him in the paddock earlier on, said hello to him. He looked absolutely miserable, he did not look happy at all. And he said he was going to give it everything. There you can see, actually started from 19th after one of the riders was moved, but he's passed 14 people. So both Japanese riders, Furusato and Suzuki, now running in second and fifth position. That is a really, really good start to the season. You see there, Suzuki just adjusting his body position there, just moving his bum more to the middle of the seat. That's just to keep a little bit of pressure on the rear suspension as he accelerates through turn 10. This leading group of 11 have a 4.7 second lead over Jacob Ralston, who in turn has a 1.6 second advantage over Britain's Scott Ogden. This is going to be a good confidence building start for him. Then it is Angel Piqueras, the junior world champion, running in 14th place. So again, the youngster who would have been told, just bring it home, get some experience, and then we can move to round number 2 in Portugal in a couple of weeks' time. When we go back to Europe, we'll of course go to America in the series. Leading 11 as it stands, as Ricardo Rossi takes a look on the inside. He's followed by David Alonso, so a couple of moves for Rossato comes back underneath him, and a little sit up there from Ricardo Rossi. Just had to check where he was as they come down into the braking zone. Looks like Alonso's having a look. Oh, he's going to give it tight into turn 6, and Ricardo Rossi just has to pick up his knee there. Holgado, I've got to say, is doing an absolutely brilliant job here at controlling things from the front. Slipstream, of course, plays a massive part in Moto3 racing, and what Holgado will be hoping is that these guys behind him just start tripping themselves up. Once that gap is about 0.7, 0.8, it's going to be very, very difficult for the slipstream to take effect. Adrian Fernandez comes back underneath, and Adrian Fernandez will put up off Raul Fernandez, who races in Moto3 the Tiso Bridge. Wide there from Rossato. Alonso has a little sniff on the inside, but there's no way through. Still at the back of this leading 11 is Joel Kelso. And look over the shoulder from Perez, and Yamanaka now up into 9th position. Via and Suzuki, the two teammates, just riding line astern. Again, it's a long way to go as again Ricardo Rossi just has a look on the inside. He quite likes that, doesn't he? That's 3 or 4 times he's either made the move or he's had a little look. As across the line and 7 as they go 5 and rest. Holgado is not prepared to finish or run in second position. He immediately snaps back and retakes the lead. It's a very interesting strategy from the poleman from last year into the braking zone once again. And Ricardo Rossi goes up on the inside of Nepa. Nepa running for the Level Up MTA team, the team run by the former Moto3 rider. Scott Ogden, for the British fans that are here, is now up behind Jacob Ralston. So Ralston's now being caught by Ogden, Esteban Piqueras, Renetta Carrara, and Ivan Ortola on the last lap. 0.7 of a second quicker than the guys ahead. Rossato makes a mistake at turn 10, runs wide. And David Munoz also is now lapping quicker than some of the guys in the leading group. 18th and 19th for Ortola and Munoz. Ortola, you would have to say, still lapping in the 2-minute 4.9s. That is faster than the first 2 guys on track. So Ortola's going to be livid at the end of this race. He was taken out not by his mistake by Jose Antonio Rueda. He got it wrong and was collected by the bike that went tumbling out of action. As we come through with 5 laps remaining, a little over 26 kilometers left. Round the final corner, Ricardo Rossi makes another move, gets ahead Furusato, who's been shuffled back from the second position. Now then, is Daniel screens already in position. So if you are wanting to celebrate with the riders on the podium, whether it be in Moto3, Moto2 or in MotoGP later on this evening, you need to make your way down to the podium area, which is directly opposite section A and B in terms of the staircase. You can already see quite a number of fans in that prime position looking across at us here. What are we going to see? Little move on the inside, was it? Oh, it was Furusato. That was the mistake. That was the mistake from the Japanese rider. You saw the front end just start to bobble as he took a hold of that lever. We have Mr. Watanabe, the president of Honda here this weekend. It's through turn 10. Joel Kelso now being dropped at the back of this group. You've seen this so many times from Joel Kelso. Over the one lap of the first part of the race, he is so fast, but as the race progresses, he just starts to lose a little bit of time. And we have now seen Jacob Ralston overhauled by a number of riders. Lunetta, Ogden, Piqueras, Carraro, all now got ahead of Jacob Ralston, who is pushed back into 16th position. Tayo Furusato, though, is getting his elbows out. He pushes Adrian Fernandez off the side of the curb, and we saw yesterday in the Idemitsu Asian Talent Cup how wrong that can go. The curbs here, of course, homologated for Formula 1 as well as car racing. The riders do tend to pay the penalty. Right, it's now a leading group of 10. He counters immediately. Joe Esteban, the second of the CF Moto riders, the teammate to David Alonso, is currently in second position. There's another move on the inside. He likes that, doesn't he? Tayo Furusato has a lot of confidence on the front end with the brakes. And mind you, the Japanese star has never finished in the top 3. He's never finished in the top 5. So this is an outstanding ride at the moment for Furusato, who started back on row number 6. There was a late lunge by Vicente Perez, who got it wrong, and that allowed Ryusu Yamanaka to move through into 6th position. Ivan Ortola is now 1.8 seconds away from the point. So Ivan Ortola, who was taken out, and if he catches this group, he's going to have a real chance of finishing in 13th place as Nepa looks on the inside. Right then, you can tell now the body language of the rider in 5th position, 6th position, the pink machine of Stefano Nepa. The body language there in the middle of the corner just changed a little bit, tucks his elbow in. And you just get the feeling as this leading 4 now start to pull 4 or 5 bike lengths. Maybe Nepa can sense the leading 4 are trying to make a break. What's the lap time going to be as they come into the braking zone? And again, all this fighting as Riccardo Rossi takes a nice wide sweeping line. The gap back from Suzuki to Joel Kelso is now 1.6 seconds. Any hope of a podium is fading fast for the Australian. Over the line. They've never had a podium in the Moto3 World Championship with this rider. This would be a massive start to the season. And for Honda, who have had so many issues in the larger classes, so many issues in World Superbike, they are trying to return to the top, and this could be the start in Moto3 of a little bit of success for Honda and for the young Japanese teenager. Holgado, though, has been impressive. He's relinquished the lead on 3 or 4 occasions and has immediately responded. He is not being flustered. We're seeing a very different Daniel Holgado. He took pole position here last year, I remind you. 2 pole positions on the bounce. We've already seen an outright circuit record so far in this race, with 2.5 laps to go then. Who is going to secure the first 25 points and head back to the airport this afternoon or this evening as the leader of the World Championship? Riccardo Rossi now up into 4th place. This is a great run from him. Stefano Neppa has been shuffled back a little bit through the middle point of the circuit, down into turn 10, through turn 11, through turn 12. The leading group from 13, 14, now through turn 15, heading up into the braking zone. And again, they go side by side, and around the outside goes Riccardo Rossi. He's not going to give up on that 4th position. I remind you, slipstream, the ideal position to be in is around about where the green bike is. Watch him get the slipstream now. Here it is, it's coming. 4th position. Here we go. Motorcycle. You're not in a car. If you run off the side, that can happen, and you saw how violent that was. And there's Perez also on the curb, manages to hang on to it. Furisato on the inside, and with a lap and a half to go at the end of this one, what a shame from Yamanaka. What did I say earlier on? He has the potential to fight for the podium, but as he gets down to the point of the race where you need to keep your head, Yamanaka makes another mistake. 0 points on the board for the Japanese rider. I'm sure we are going to get a replay of that. Good to see that Ivan Ortola, ladies and gents, is now up into 12th place. So Yamanaka, of course, dropping down, so that's going to be 11th place for Ivan Ortola. These points could be very, very important. We're riding on board. There's a replay. So he hit the curb. See it on the inside there, over the curb, the front wheel tucks. You are never going to save that at 100 mile an hour. It's just not going to happen. And hopefully Yamanaka is able to walk away from that. We did see him just slide gracefully into the wall, but luckily he is okay. Holgado still leads. Furisato in 2nd. Fernandez, through all the carnage, is 3rd, and all of a sudden Vicente Perez, who was running in 10th position, is now in the fight for the podium. He goes on the inside. Here comes the attack from Vicente Perez, pushes Fernandez back, and here comes Riccardo Rossi into 2nd place. 1 lap then to decide the final point scoring positions of the opening round of the Moto3 World Championship. Looking on the inside, Alonso being brave around the outside, the 2 of them all. And again, there's more carnage in Moto3. Vicente Perez taken out by Adrian Fernandez. And what again did I say? I'm not being rude when I say this. You've got to get it to the finish. You don't win the race in the opening, the championship in the opening race. Fernandez goes down, and another rider on the floor. And all of a sudden, Ivan Ortola, who looked like he wasn't going to score any points, is going to score 7. Unbelievable stuff. Back at the front, through all the carnage, still in the lead. is Daniel Holgado. Now, here comes the rider that a lot of riders ticked for the World Championship, third position. Here comes the attack. Furisato is going to let off the brakes at some point, but here comes Alonso. Alonso wants the win. Alonso goes second. This is a perfect final lap for David Alonso, the Colombian. Through turn 12, into turn 13. Alonso has only got a couple more positions, a couple more corners to have a look. He's not going to pass into 15. Furisato wants the first podium. Is he going to be denied? Up the hill we go then. Up the hill's the slightest incline into the braking zone. Here comes Furisato. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Qatar Airways Grand Prix of Qatar Moto3 podium ceremony. Let's welcome to the podium, collecting the award on behalf of the winning constructor, the CF Moto Aspar team, a MotoGP legend, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jorge Martinez Aspar. And now we welcome the top three riders. Firstly, in third place for Honda Team Asia from Japan, Tayo Furisato. In second place from Spain for the Red Bull Gas Tech 3 team, the pole sitter, Daniel Holgado. And the race winner with a perfectly executed final move on the final corner of the final lap. The race winner, the 25 points, and the leader of the World Championship after the opening round here at the Sale from Colombia, David Alonso. We now ask the president of the FIM, Mr. George Viegas, to present the Constructors' Trophy to Jorge Martinez Aspar on behalf of the CF Moto Aspar team. Thank you, George. We now move on to the top three presentations, beginning with the trophy presentation to Tayo Furisato. The presentation will be made by the Qatar Motor and Motorcycle Federation General Secretary, Mr. Abdul Razak Khalaf Al-Kawari, who presents the trophy now to Honda Team Asia's Tayo Furisato. The trophy presentation for our runner-up will be presented by the CEO of the Sale International Circuit, Mr. Amril Al-Hamad, and we present that trophy now to Spain's Daniel Holgado. And the final trophy presentation, once again presented by FIM President George Viegas, goes to your race winner here in the Sale, David Alonso.